Hello, duelists. Welcome back to Old Format Yu-Gi-Oh's Edison Format Tournament. Today we are watching Round 3, Match 3, which is Mark Azathoth144 versus Erik, aka Discat O. Let's see what these duelists brought. Mark, being our previous champion, was actually given extra points to use for his point buy for the decks that he brought. He decided to bring Disaster Dragon, Light Sworn, Athena, and Psychics, with his Athena deck being banned. I believe that Erik was just worried about being OTK'd by it because his decks aren't necessarily interactive, besides one. Erik decided to bring Disaster Dragon, Turbo Dragon, Norlira's Dragon, and Chaos, with his Turbo Dragon deck being banned. His thought process, I believe, was that Chaos is the only deck with traps, and otherwise Athena might just have an open board state versus all the other decks. Oh, except Disaster Dragon, my apologies. Either way, let's get into match 1. Looks like Erik's going to go first. He is on Disaster Dragon, his favorite deck, I believe. He opened up Royal Oppression, great start, Mirror Force, Book of Moon, Prime Material Dragon, Red Eyes Wyvern, and My Body as a Shield. Interesting text. Of note, he is not one of the filthy net deckers. He made his own deck from scratch, I believe. Meanwhile, Mark opens up Future Fusion, Exploder, Red Eyes, Giant Tornado, Gold Sark, and Mirror Force. I believe he also made his deck. However, he is a lot less familiar with Edison format, I believe. He stopped playing at this point. He's going to Future Fusion into the Oppression, and now we have a fun board state. Mark's going to Gold Sark for Heavy, Summon Wyvern, and set Mirror Force. Erik's going to Gold Sark for Future Fusion of his own, Summon Prime Material with a Tribute, and get over. Yeah, of note, Mirror Force can be used, but Prime Material has an interesting effect, although most people don't know what this card does. First off, any effect damage that would deal damage to you, you gain that life instead. And also, effect or card would activate that would destroy a monster. You can send a card from hand to grave and negate the activation and destroy it. So Mirror Force basically does nothing against it. So Mark is not in an ideal spot right now. He's going to draw Torrential, Mirror Force. Ironically, Erik chains Book of Moon when he could have just used this, but it's the same result, really. He gets Heavy, activates Heavy, which is nice. And Mark is in an interesting position. Trying to think if he had anything that he could have done here differently. No, actually, yeah, there's no current out to Prime Material, which kind of sucks. Erik draws Book of Moon, gets in, Mash Dragon effect. Oh, he also gets Future Fusion. We're really good at forgetting those. Alright, Future Fusion's going to send Wyvern, Red Eyes, Totem, Drago, and I believe, yeah, a second Wyvern, but he's banishing it to summon Redem Day. This is not ideal. Mark drew the best top deck in the deck, Trap Dust Shoot. Red Eyes brings Wyvern back, and he's going to start getting in for damage. Prime Material's going to try, or Exploder Dragwing is going to get negated by Prime Material, pitching a Dust Shoot. They both drew Dust Shoot, ironically, which is kind of funny. He brings back Totem Dragon, but I believe Mark knows that this game is over, pretty much. He's going to Book a Moon, call the Haunted for Mass Dragon. That's a good start. Mass Dragon does not summon an attack like other recruiters, which is pretty cool. He's going to bring out one of his own techs, the Magna Drago, which is basically a level 2 tuner. Lets you do some interesting synchro plays. He's going to Trinate back some stuff. Summon Drago, flip Fast Sheet, and that is game, as you can see. He could synchro 6 into, like, Brionac, but he only has, one discard. It wasn't looking good. Match 2. Mark should be starting us off going first. Can the previous champion beat the Dragon Duelist himself? Mark's back on Disaster Dragon. He's opened up Prison, Torrential, Totem, Gold Sark, Giant Trinity, and Mass Dragon. Meanwhile, Erik has opened... You know what? I'll tell you on his turn. Mark's going to Gold Sark for Future Fusion, set Mass Dragon, set Torrential, set Deep Prison. Erik's going to draw into Mizuki, Torrential, Caius, Mystical Space Typhoon, Spirit Reaper, and another Caius. I believe this is his Chaos list, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Mizuki gets in for some damage. Set MST, set Torrential, good. Mark draws, set Totem, set Deep Prison, and Erik draws the Thunder King. Okay. We're gumming up the works a bit with this game. Kill Totem Dragon, get Future Fusion. Solid start. Future Fusion the MST. I really think Mark should have Giant Trinated here, because with this kind of board state that you're dealing with right now, I mean, you can't afford much. You really have to make sure that Future Fusion goes through. It sucks to Trinate with just one card, but ironically the card does matter. And then you would have had a Red MD and end phase. And currently, I guess there is the Caius, but you could always Torrential the Caius summon, and then Red MD is still in grave. You have more Wyverns in grave. All in all, Giant Trinade could have easily swung this game in a certain direction. Dragwing is going to kill the Thunder King. Erik draws a Lure. Summons Reaper, which gets Torrentialed, and he's going to Mizuki back the Reaper. Reaper of note is very, very good against dragons. However, thankfully Mark has the out in Brain Control to kill it off. Totem Dragon's going to get attributed for White Knight Dragon. Interesting card. I think most people go for Clear Vice nowadays. But for White Knight Dragon, if a spell or trap targets that card, you get to negate it, plain and simple. And if another monster is targeted for an attack, you can send a spell or trap you control to the grave and change the attack target to White Knight Dragon. Honestly, the effect doesn't come up too much, but he's a 3k beater that Red MD can bring back. Erik right now, though, has Torrential, which is going to go off. Not ideal. I think that was another play where you should have just Truenated, because at this point, in looking at Erik's deck list, there aren't too many traps he plays. I say just, why take the chance? Magna Draco gets in for some damage. Dust Tornado is going to kill D-Prison. It's a great hit compared to the other D-Prison. Doesn't really matter. Lila gets banished. Trap Dust Shoe is set. Doesn't do anything. Now he Trunades back the Dust Shoe. You might see a bit what I'm saying now. Like, this giant Trunade play is... I mean, it's good and all. Like, we have the hindsight of knowing it's Trap Dust Shoot, but, like, it's irrelevant compared to the other plays. You could have pushed through a Future Fusion, which is insane. Magna Draco gets in. It doesn't get in. And I believe, yeah, he's smashing grounds. Although he does Dust Shoot, though, which is nice. I guess that's why he did it, but still, I think this is way too late. He's going to hit the Cyber Dragon that just got drawn. And now we're in a very low-resource scramble, with one player having Mirror Force, one having Dust Shoot Caius. Ooh, Raikou gets drawn, though. Yep, that breaks the stalemate very easily. Mill's a Plague Spreader, too, and top decks the Thunder King. Stick's not looking good. Drago gets drawn on Mark's side. However, the damage might be irreparable, and I believe he just scoops it up, because you could just go crash with Doomcal or T-King and attack with the other. Sad game there. I think that Trinade really mattered. I think I've talked about that enough, though. Can Mark bring it back? Oh no, they're trying to confuse me. They switched sides. Oh, that sucks. Mark is on Masked Dragon, Magna Draco, Totem Dragon, Brain Control, Book of Moon, Smashing Ground? Okay. It's going to set Mass, set Book of Moon. Meanwhile, Erik is on Norlira's Dragons. Opening double Gold Sark, Red MD, Norlira's Upstart, Necrogarna. Not an amazing hand, but double Gold Sark is going to hit you a Trunade and a Future Fusion. And Future Fusion can sometimes just be game. Dark Horse, not a good draw. Masked Dragon gets flipped, get in. Of note, Mark has a Starlight Road now, which is cool versus this heavy that was top decked. However, Starlight Road is actually useless against Norlira's if it comes down, because Norlira's is send, not destroy, which sucks for Mark, obviously. Alright, Mark's going to drop the Draco, though, which definitely is going to slow down Erik's game plan. Erik gets Future Fusion, gets a Trunade, sets 2. He cannot legally activate Future Fusion because I believe you have to reveal 5-head, which is a dark monster, and Kokimero's on board. I don't know for sure, but I think that's why he didn't go for it. Alright, we're going to see... Yeah, wow, that's funny, actually. We see Mark just get in for damage because, I mean, it's Decree Trunade. There's just nothing of note. That was simple. Alright, match 4. Mark is rising up now. Let's see what happens. Erik, though, gets first with Norlira's Dragons, which is not ideal if he could pull off the combo. He opens up Allure, Phantom, Gold Sark, Solemn, Wyvern, and Dark Horse. He's going to draw 2, banish the Phantom. Interesting play, in my opinion. Upstart Goblin, Gold Sark into Future Fusion. Set, pass. Sets Necrogarna, Judgment Decree. Okay. Mark opens up Recharge, Wolf, MST, Smashing Ground, Jane, and Aaron. I'm going to fast forward a bit because his hand's going to change, probably. Yeah, mills Illumina of note. Aaron spins Necrogarna back to deck, which is nice. And mills 3. Sets an MST. Let's look at his grave. Currently has 3 names on board, but 3 names in grave. Aaron's the 4th one on board, though. So that is JD potential, which is nice. Eric's going to summon Wyvern, attack over Jane. Or, sorry, Aaron. Jane comes down now. There we go, the correct one, and attacks over Wyvern. Jane mills Celestia, that's 4 names definitely. And now, Gold Stork is going to trigger getting that Future Fusion. Okay. We're going to see MST on Future Fusion, followed by Solemn. Sends 1 extra card. There we go, fix that. Red MD's in the end phase. Smashing Ground takes care of 1, and Honest is going to take care of the other, it looks like. Set Raikou as well. Mill second Honest. Okay, Grave is fully stacked. Oh, come on, there we go. Alright. Mark draws into Wolf, great draw, into Raikou, and this turn's kind of interesting, because Mark knows Erik's deck list, and he knows that this is either Decree or Return from the Different Dimension, and Erik is very low. So he has to figure out how to deal with that. So it flips Raikou, pops Red MD, summon Plague, go for Yugioh, bring back Plague, and go for Armory Arm. Now this exactly plays around Return from the Different Dimension. This is a very, I don't want to say high level, maybe like mid-high level play. It's definitely good. Not a lot of people saw it immediately. A lot of people in the Discord call were just like, why is he doing this? Why is he spinning his wheels? It's obviously a game. However, it's not obviously a game. Sometimes you got to make the right play just in case. And of note, just because Return from the Different Dimension is you have to special summon all of them that are banished, like you don't have a choice in it. So then you attack over Wyvern, and that is game because Armory Arm burns for the damage of their attack. So, very heads-up play for our previous champion. We are down to that all-important Game 5. Who's going to win this one? We have Erik on Norlear's Dragons again, and I believe Mark is on Psychics, if I'm not mistaken. Erik opens Trade-in Norlear's, Trade-in Dark Horse, Gold Sark, Gores. This hand is not amazing, but this is the kind of hand I love to draw. Just double trade in targets, fill up the grave a bit, and hopefully draw Phantom, because now Norlear's is in grave. Rips Plague Greffer, and rips Phantom. This is a good start. Now, he doesn't need to go for it yet, because he does have the perfect setup, which is Greffer send Plague, because now, before you Norlear is, you can actually use Plague to stack the top of your deck with Dark Creator if you have it, typically, which he can also set up. And with no fear, because Royal Decree is a thing. So things are not looking good for Mark already, who opens up Brain Control, Emergency Teleport, Allure of Darkness, Trap Dust Shoot, Raikou, and Psychic Commander. He's going to Brain Control the Greffer. Italian Krebens, reminds me of Teledad. Go for Yugioh. Set Dust Shoot, set Raikou. I think that's a fine play. Alright, Erik's going to start his turn, flip up Decree, and we are off to the races, basically. He, of note, summons Phantom of Chaos. Does he use Upstart at all? No. I think he should have Upstarted first, because hopefully you hit a Dark Creator, and then you could use Plague to stack it, and then the game's really over, basically, this turn. However, he does have a Future Fusion coming in one turn, just due to Gold Sark, so I don't think you need to play safe like that, honestly. It doesn't really matter. So, everything gets sent to grave. Erik draws a card, draws Foolish, send Gardna. Mark's going to draw Mirror Force, probably one of the best draws you could have at this point, which is good. Future Vision's going to activate, send a lot of dragons, including Dark Arm, because I think he was ahead of dragons. Double Red MDs come back. Phantom of Chaos, remove Dark Armed to pop the card, because Phantom of Chaos doesn't have to target Norlear's, it can target any monster in grave. Which leads to a quick GG, sadly, for Erik. Now, I say sadly, but hats off to Erik, he played the deck correctly. Mark, I know, is a little disheartened because no one likes to play against Norlear's. I hope you enjoyed Match 3 or Round 3. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good one, duelists.